Oasis have released a lot of classic tunes over the years. Live Forever, Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, Don't Look Back in Anger, and the list goes on. But for my money, Supersonic is still the Oasis song that I reach for most. From the iconic guitar riff to the incredible vocal and attitude to its catchy as hell drum beat, Supersonic is still an absolute classic, and it was the band's first single. This is why Supersonic is still the best Oasis song. Reason number one, the vocal and attitude. We all know that Liam Gallagher is one of the best vocalists of all time, and he really comes out of the gate swinging on Supersonic. Right from the first notes on the song, he just nails it. The swagger and the attitude, a pitch-perfect tone, and a crystal clear vocal overall. His voice doesn't have the trademark grit that he would become known for, but it's still vintage Liam Gallagher. And it's surprising that he was able to find his vocal groove on the band's very first single, especially considering that he was still finding his voice and his style on the demos pre-Definitely Maybe. He wasn't a fully formed vocalist yet, but he certainly found it on Supersonic. Liam has graced us with a lot of great vocal performances over the years, but there's just something extra pure and extra iconic about his Supersonic vocal. It's pure attitude and swagger all in one song, and it makes us all feel like we can take on the world. Another reason why Supersonic is still the best Oasis song are the riffs and the guitars. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think that Supersonic still has the most iconic and signature riffs in the Oasis discography. Of course, Noel Gallagher has written tons of great riffs since, but Supersonic actually has two iconic riffs in one track. The opening riff, which is just amazing, but then you have the post-chorus solo that is also iconic as hell. To have two of the band's best riffs of all time in their very first studio track is crazy, but hey, that's Noel Gallagher for you. In addition to those amazing riffs, the rhythm guitars on Supersonic are thick and heavy. You got Bonehead providing the backbone to the track, with Noel providing the sweet licks throughout the song. The guitar layering is next level, and just like everything in the song, sounds fantastic. I love when songs go heavy with guitars in the mix, but then allow the other instruments to breathe, especially on Supersonic, where the drums come through really well, and for the vocals to rise above the mix. I guess that's something that Noel Gallagher lost on future Oasis songs, because, you think about an album like Be Here Now, which is an album that I absolutely love, but the guitars are really sludgy and undefined, and everything else just drowns in the mix in a giant wall of sound. Supersonic also has one of the most iconic drum intros of all time. When that beat kicks in, you know this shit is on. I have to admit that when I first became an Oasis fan in the mid-90s, I used to write off Tony McCarroll as a drummer. I was all about Alan White, who at the time did bring a lot of variety and skill to the Oasis sound, but Tony just brought that steady, four-on-the-floor beat that the band has sadly lacked since then, and I give him all the credit in the world for making Supersonic sound as awesome as it does. No drummer in Oasis history, well, maybe Zach Starkey, has ever gotten the Supersonic beat right. I used to hate when Alan White played the song because he added all in these shuffle beats and ghost notes to the track, and even when I saw them play live last summer at Live 25 in Toronto, Joey Warnker didn't even play the song properly. The thing with Supersonic is, if you're gonna play the song, you gotta play it right. The craziest thing about Supersonic is that it wasn't even supposed to be the first Oasis single. Oasis actually went into the studio with the intention of recording the song Bring It On Down as their first single, but it wasn't coming together well in the studio. Why the band didn't record any of the other great songs they had in their arsenal at the time and had already demoed, like Rock and Roll Star or Live Forever, we'll never know, but Noel Gallagher decided to write a brand new song from scratch right on the spot, and that just shows his incredible songwriting ability. He wrote Supersonic in less than a half an hour, brought it to the band, they recorded it in less than a day, and the rest is history. I think this was truly the moment that Noel Gallagher became a legendary songwriter, right from the first single, because he was able to write an instant classic on the spot and make it work. No going away for a week to write the perfect song, no rewrites, just pure rock and roll awesomeness all in one go, proving he was already one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Supersonic is still one of the best produced Oasis songs of all time. The drums are punchy and loud in the mix. The guitars are thick and heavy and huge in the mix without stepping on the other instruments. And the vocals, of course, are cutting and crisp, and they come through really, really well above all the instrumentation. And you know what? With Supersonic, you can actually hear the bass too. What's going on here? The song was produced by Noel Gallagher and longtime friend and early producer of Oasis, Mark Coyle. And it makes you wonder why the band had such a hard time getting things right. When they went to record the rest of Definitely Maybe, Supersonic was already recorded and released months before the album proper. It's well known that Oasis recorded Definitely Maybe twice because it wasn't working when they recorded it the first time with producer Dave Batchelor. It didn't even work when they recorded it the second time because they had to bring in producer Owen Morris to try and wrangle these mixes into sounding something more akin to the Oasis live sound, but they had the blueprint to how to make a great Oasis song with Supersonic. Why not just replicate that success? It doesn't make sense to me. And to be honest, even though I love every Oasis song released in its own way, I don't think any of their records have ever lived up to Supersonic as just a well-produced, crisp Oasis recording. You compare later singles to Supersonic, and they just don't sound as good. It still sounds amazing 30 plus years later. And in the end, the reason why Supersonic is still the best Oasis song is because it encompasses everything we love about the band. Their rock and roll swagger, their unyielding attitude, and incredible songwriting all in one track. It's the blueprint for everything Oasis did after and since. If they had botched their first single, Oasis wouldn't have achieved their rock and roll destiny. I don't think Bring It On Down would have launched their career as well as Supersonic. It was lightning in a bottle, and the band rode that energy all the way to superstardom, but it started with Supersonic. Man, I love that song. In fact, I'm going to listen to it right now. Remember to like and subscribe, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, rock on, everybody.